Hello everyone, welcome to day 231 of a Stitch a Day 365 Days Crochet Challenge. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this peacock shell lace stitch. So this is part 2 of this particular stitch. I've uploaded the part 1 yesterday. You can check it out. And in part 1, we have completed till row 4 and 4. Okay. So now for row 5, chain 1 and make 1 double crochet onto the very first stitch. Okay, now we are going to create shell stitches on all these stitches here. Okay, so you spot the double crochet between this half shell and the full shell, which is right here, and we are going to shell on top of that double crochet. That is, make 5 triple crochets on top of that double crochet stitch. Okay, now we're basically interlacing the shell stitches. So we did one shell on top of the double crochet. Now you're going to make 1 double crochet on top of the third stitch from the previous row's shell stitch. Again make 1 double crochet. So now again make 1 shell on top of the double crochet stitch between the 2 shell stitches. Okay. Now again 1 DC on top of the third triple crochet of the previous row's shell stitch. Okay. Now you completed 2 shell stitches and 1 double crochet. After this, you just have to chain 3 onto the first chain 5 space here. We are going to make a shell stitch. Okay, again chain 3 so you have to make this shell on to this space here. Make 1 shell stitch on to the chain 5 space which is in the middle. Again chain 3. You're going to repeat what you did on these shells here as well. Okay, so to start off, you're going to skip this double crochet and make one double crochet onto the third shell stitches, triple crochet. Okay, you can see that we're connecting these peacock shells. Now, just like what we did here, you're going to make the shell stitch onto the double crochet between two shell stitches. Okay, and make one double crochet on top of the third triple crochet from the shell stitch. Then again make a shell on top of the double crochet. Again make one double crochet on top of the shell, make a shell on top of the double crochet. So this way you're kind of interlacing the shell stitches over the peacock shell stitch. Okay, you can also see that this is the peacock shell. We have been increasing till row number 4. Now it is going like this. Okay, we are kind of decreasing the peacock shell. So now we have done one double crochet onto the last shell stitch here. From here on we are just going to do everything in reverse what we did here. So we ended with the chain 3, we are starting with the chain 3 here. So chain 3, make one shell onto the middle chain 5 space. Again chain 3. I'm going to skip this double crochet and make one double crochet on top of the first shell of this half shell space here. And now we are going to make shell stitches on top of the double crochets and double crochet on top of the shell stitch. Now we started this row with a double crochet. We ended with a double crochet on top of the chain 3 of the previous row. That completes row number 5. It should look something like this. Now for row 6, we are again going to start off with a chain 3 and we are again going to interlace the shell stitches. Okay. Now start off with this chain 3. The chain 3 counts as one double crochet. So on top of the double crochet, so this is a double crochet from the previous row. On top of this, we are going to make one shell with just 2 triple crochet stitches. Okay. On top of the shell stitch, you'll make one double crochet, and on top of the double crochet, you will make a shell stitch. Again, on top of the shell stitch, we are making one double crochet. So the previous row had 2 shells. Here we have only one shell. Once you reach the last shell, you just chain 3, and from here on, because we are going to decrease the peacock shell here, we need to fill the gap here. So we are going to make this particular shell here into 2 shells. Okay. So what you do is, you're going to make a 3 triple crochet shell instead of a 5 one. Basically, you're splitting that 5 shells into 2 parts. And then chain 3. Again, make 3 triple crochets onto the same space. So this kind of splits the shell stitch right here, helping us reduce the peacock shell right here to get that feather shape. Okay. Now, I think you have to chain 4 to start off with, so that will give us more space. So instead of a chain 3, make a chain 4 and you do the 3 triple crochet, chain 3, 3 triple crochet. Okay, I made a chain 4 here and I'm just repeating the same thing, that is 3 triple crochet and 3 triple crochet all on top of the middle triple crochet stitch from the shell stitch of the previous row. Okay, so again chain 4. So this will help us reach this shell better. Now again we are going to do the same thing what we did onto this half shell. On top of the shell stitch you will make one double crochet, and on top of the double crochet you will make a shell stitch. The previous row shells had 4 shells. Now we'll only have 3 shells. So this is what I'm talking about, how we are decreasing. If you, so that is this stitch called the pineapple lace stitch. If you look at that video as well, you will understand how the decrease part works. This stitch is also very similar to the pineapple shell, but then we're just giving, we're just trying to create something like a peacock feather here. So we're just making shell on top of the double crochet and double crochet on top of the shell stitches. Okay, so that's the last double crochet. Now we are going to start doing the stitch from here backwards. So again, chain 3, chain 4, and you're going to make a double shell stitch with just 3 triple crochets on top of the shell stitch here. 3 triple crochets separated by a chain 3, again 3 triple crochets. Okay, again chain 4, skip this double crochet on to the third triple crochet from the shell stitch, again shell on top of the double crochet, and double crochet on top of the shell, end with a 3 triple crochet, half shell. Okay, so that's the end of row 6. You can see that this peacock's feather shape is forming. Now for row 7, basically we are just creating a shell row. We are creating a row starting with a shell stitch, and we are creating a row starting with a double crochet. So that's how we are interlacing the shell stitches. So row 7 is again a row with starting with a double crochet. So chain 1, make just 1 double crochet onto the very first stitch, and you're going to make a shell on top of this double crochet right here. And double crochet on top of the third triple crochet from the previous row shell stitch, chain 3, Now you're going to make one shell stitch onto the third triple crochet here. Chain 3, one double crochet onto the chain 3 space from the previous row. Again one shell onto the very first triple crochet on this side of the shell. So this is how we have split the shell stitch into two portions. Okay, again chain 3. So the previous row had 3 shells. Now we'll only do 2 shells. So make one double crochet on top of the shell and make a shell on top of the double crochet. Okay, so you can see the peacock feather closing up. So the next row will have just one shell stitch. Okay, now once you have done with this part, we are again going to repeat this portion of the stitch on this side in reverse. So again chain 3, make one shell on the third triple crochet right here. Chain 3 and one more shell on top of this one. Now again chain 3, 1 double crochet on top of the shell here, and 1 shell on top of the double crochet here. And again 1 double crochet on top of the last stitch. So that completes your row 7. Now for row 8, you're going to start off with a chain 3, so this is going to be the setup row for the next shell stitch row as well, the next 2 rows. Okay, so now we are going to complete the peacock shell with just 1 shell right here. Okay, so chain 3 on top of the first stitch, you're going to make just 1 half shell, that is 2 triple crochets. Okay, make 1 double crochet on top of the third triple crochet stitch, chain 4, and now you're going to make 1 shell on top of the third stitch of this shell stitch that we made here. Okay, chain 3, make 1 double crochet, chain 7, make 1 more double crochet, okay, so this is where our next peacock shell is going to start. So this is the space right here that we have created. Okay, so now again chain 3, shell on top of the shell stitch right here. Okay, again okay, so now chain 3 again, make 1 double crochet on top of the shell right here, make a shell stitch on top of the double crochet here, make 1 double crochet on top of the shell stitch right here. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are creating the setup row for the next peacock shell, which is this one. So we're basically repeating, this is the repeat row of the first row. Okay, now, okay, so that completes our peacock feather. You can see the shape right here. Now, so we have to repeat this side of the work onto this side. Again, chain 3, chain 4, shell on top of the shell, make 1 double crochet, chain 7, one more double crochet here, okay, so this is the space for the next peacock shell. So on the next row we'll be having 1 peacock shell here and 1 peacock shell here. Okay, so before the double crochet we need to do another chain 3, one double crochet, chain 7, one more double crochet here, again chain 3 and shell on top of the shell. Okay, now chain 4, one double crochet on top of the shell here and complete the row with 3 triple crochet stitches. Okay, so that completes our peacock shell. Now from the next row we are kind of doing a repeat row, but then we are going to do it in a way where we repeat the pattern what we did on each of the shell here on this row. So for example, here in row number 1 we have a shell space here, sorry, in row number 2, where we have created the shell space. The next row we did a triple crochet and a chain 1, triple crochet and a chain 1. So you're going to find that shell over here and do the same thing. Okay, you will understand when I do that row. Now from row 11, now we are at row number 9. So till row number 8, we have done the first peacock shell. Row number 9, and we have also set up the base for the next peacock shell here. We have interlaced the uh, starting point of the peacock shell. So we will be having 2 peacock shells in this particular set of rows. Okay. So now for row 9 is the repeat row of row 2 in the interlaced manner. Now chain 5, 1 2 3 4 5. The chain 5 counts as one double crochet and a chain 1, sorry, one triple crochet and a chain 1. Make one triple crochet on top of the stitch right here, again chain 1, one more triple crochet, sorry, chain, so you're going to chain 3 4 5, chain 5 and sorry, this one is a double crochet. So the chain 5 counts as one double crochet and a chain 1. You're going to make one double crochet, chain 5 and one more double crochet on top of this stitch right here. Okay, so this is the half shell portion of this space right here, that is this one, where we did a double crochet, a triple crochet and a chain 5. Okay, now moving on to the shell, you're going to make one shell stitch on top of the shell stitch. Okay, chain 1 and into the chain 7 space you're going to make 9 double triple crochet, 1 double triple double triple, that is your yarn over thrice before going in. Now we have completed 9 triple crochets, chain 1 again, shell on top of the shell right here, chain 3. So here we are going to make 1 triple crochet, sorry, we are going to make 1 double crochet, chain 5 and 1 double crochet. So you remember we were talking about the 3 kinds of shells here. So this shell has, the shell which has 2 double crochets on either side will be creating the chain 5 space double crochet thing, and on the shell which has 3 chains on either side will be creating another shell which is right here. So this shell has 3 chains on either side, will be creating another shell, and on the shell which has chain 4 on one side, which is this one, okay, we'll be creating another shell, okay. Or you can also read it like on either side of the chain 5 shell we'll be making another shell, okay. So that's what we are doing right now. So on top of the shell which has 2 double crochets on either side, we'll be creating the chain 5 space shell stitch. That is 1 double crochet, chain 5, then 1 double crochet between the next to 2 shell spaces, again chain 5, 1 double crochet between 2 shell spaces, again chain 5, 1 double crochet between 2 shell spaces, okay. So we have 3 5 chain spaces here, and again you chain 3. So the next one has 3 chains on either side, you make a shell stitch on top, okay. Now again we have reached the chain 7 space right here, so you chain 1 and make 9 triple crochet stitches, 9 double triple crochet stitches, okay. So now again chain 1 and shell on top of the shell, okay. I think the video is getting too long, I will continue this on the next part. So that will be a part 3 for this video as well. Okay. So now chain 3, 1 double crochet into, so onto this one we are creating the chain 5 space thing again. So chain 5, make 1 double crochet between the 2 stitches, chain 5, make another double crochet between the next 2 stitches, chain 2, and make 1 triple crochet on top of the chain stitch from the previous row. So I'm going to stop here and I'll meet you back in the next part of the peacock shell stitch. So end of row 9, your work should look something like this.